gentlemen, the books is in. The books are in. Yep. They in. They're here.
Log in to tp-Hsb.com and get Spears of the Mossy Volume 1 by Kofi Paisai Research Team, from Spears the Pen Volume 2 by Kofi Paisai Research Team, Spiritual Combat Volume 3 by Kofi Paisai Research Team, One Night Before Bed by Any Harek Shun Kalfunny, Kalawa's Trip to the Motherland by Kofi Paisai, From Cocaine to Consciousness by Any Harek Shun Kalfunny, As I Learned, We All Learn by Kofi Paisai. Also, if you want fresh merch, go to our online store, Family Connect Apparel, and get all the brands. Also, get our 54 deck of quiz and educational cards available now on KofiPaisaiTV.com.
ETM Hotel. Sean, welcome to Peace. My name is Sean. I'd like to thank everybody tuning into the Master Warrior Clan channel. We live, like the show, share the show, tell a friend, tell a friend. So I even got the big head Kofi in here trying to change up his icon and his imagery and all that. You know what I mean? So Kofi, you wanna say something, or you editing yourself? What it look like Kofi in the middle of trying to make some adjustments. There you go.
Yeah, peace. ETM Hotel. Dua Cool, Dua Netcha, Fatmu Alafie, Fatmu Riri, Fatmu Iwa Pele, Majuba Iba E Gungun, Majuba Iba Gungun, Majuba Iba E Lagba, Majuba Iba E Lagba, E Gungun, Kiki E Gungun. Like I said, I always want to give honor and praise to the ancestors, man. But peace, Sean. Shoot, I'm just making it back to the house, man.
How you just making it back to the house, huh? What up, Keenan? What up, Herman? What up, everybody watching, man? Like the show, share the show, put it on your timeline. Alafia Ni, peace. We're gonna have a nice little interesting conversation, man, and nice little bill. But I need y'all to share the show, man, while we kicking off this information real quick. Just a couple of things I want to go to kind of set the stage for the conversation for tonight. If y'all can still hear me, all right. But before we go though, we are joined by Brother Sutek. You know what I mean? I'm gonna let him go ahead and get his piece in. He want to get his piece in. Brother Sutek. Busy? I think he might be busy too. See how they do. But
I'm in here.
Okay. You don't say nothing to nobody?
Oh man, I've said what I had to say, man. Let's just get the show started, man. Yeah, please like and share the show, man. Peace to everybody in the chat. Peace to everybody that may be viewing this stream at a later date, man. Peace to y'all. Let's get it.
What else, Sutek?
What up, man? Share Lafayette, peace to the chat. Make sure y'all like the show as y'all come in. Please help me share the show as y'all come in, man. Let's get something from this.
Yeah, so the title of this show today is tp-Hsb Correct Method, Following the Way of the Remich. What else, Sadiq? So before we get started, I know a lot of y'all don't know what tp-Hsb mean, but it's what it say. It's correct method, right? The rmT figured out a way to create a tool and utilize that tool to answer real world questions and come up with solutions to help them in their day-to-day lives. They just didn't mystify everything or deal with just underworld everything. They were more than just underworld text, the rmTs, the people. Their creative genius goes outside of that. You see that in their architecture, their art expression, their writing system, and more. So what I want to do today is I want to set a standard. But at the same time, I also want to build on the foundation. And that foundation is what Theophilo Banga calls a new approach to African philosophy. I know some of y'all are just coming in, and we appreciate you coming in, but help us share the show, like the show. We should have like 100 people in this jump, really 1,000. You know what I mean? So I know Sue Check sharing because I'm sitting here trying to get it in people's inbox, but hold on just a second for me. And we're gonna rock people world. What up, Kanan? I see you, bro. What's goody goody in the hoodie yitty, yo? All right, now I hope everybody having a good little evening. You got to spend time with your family members and friends, your loved ones, those who cared about you the most in your on your holiday, whether you celebrate it or not. It's your business. If you're still celebrating it, as you can hear the fireworks outside my window, my whole neighborhood lit it up. When I say my whole neighborhood lit it up, I'm talking about everybody came out their house with some fireworks and was sitting there popping them. It was like they was all going back to back to back to back to back to back to back at one point. Kind of slowed down now, which means the older people must have cut their show early because they got to work tomorrow. So I expect the rest of this to be the younger crowd. But as I was saying, just momentarily, we're trying to follow the way of the rmT, but not necessarily from a perspective of just Kimmy, because that's all you've been hearing lately. But they set a standard earlier on, but they're not the only ones that set a standard. There were other African civilizations that also built on that on things and helped advance things in a way that orchestrated and pushed people forward. So today's show, like I said, is in honor of Theophilo Banga and a new approach to African philosophy. So let me go ahead and define what philosophy meant to Theophilo Banga. He says one can agree with the definition of philosophy as being investigation of cause and laws underlying a reality. In other words, philosophy is an inquiry into nature of the things based on logical reasoning. It follows then the essential question in philosophy involves the following inquiry. What is it? Reasoning is a mental process. So logical reasoning must be in accordance with nature of logic. The word logic derives from the Greek word logos, which itself comes from the Indo-European basic form leg, meaning to collect. From this basic stems the Latin verb legere, to gather, choose, elect, or select. The Greek word logos means reason because one must choose, select, or study with rationality, that it is with the quality of sound mind. The basic meaning of the concept logos is to make visible, manifest in speech, what is being selected and apprehended explicitly by reasoning for the sake of truth. Such an intellectual procedure to discover and know what is true is understood as philosophical knowledge. Logos then means reasoning, speech, ground, relation, and relationship. By and large, philosophy is the act, process, or practice of making comfortable to reason. Philosophy is the exercise of reason rather than the acceptance of empiricism, authority, or spiritual revelation. Philosophy provides the only basis for both knowledge and spiritual truth because reason is the prime source of knowledge. Human beings have at least three kinds of knowledge. You got faith, which describes a belief that does not rest on logical proof or material evidence. You got opinion, which describes a belief or conclusion held with confidence, but not substantiated by positive knowledge or proof. Opinion usually excludes doubt. It is based on emotions or will rather than reasoning and evaluation, or a critique which stems from crino to put asunder, separate, or disguise. Public opinion, for example, is just a prevailing feeling without ruling out the possibility of debate or discussion. Science or scientific knowledge is logos, that is, the observation, identification, description, experimental investigation, and theoretical explanation of phenomena. Theoretical explanation of theory comes from theoria, intellectual insight in Greek. Philosophy is science, and science is philosophy. A doctor of philosophy, PhD, is supposed to know all the disciplines presented in the university curricula of science and liberal arts. In Plato's dialogue, for example, complete education is a question of mastery of both science, astronomy, geometry, biology, etc., and the liberal arts, education, music, aesthetics, politics, and government. Even when we study mythology or a body of myths, we still receive a PhD because we seek to master the knowledge of fictional stories by means of reason. The following questions has come to cloud the minds of African philosophers. Is there an African philosophy? This question basically asks the deeper question, can we attribute reason to Africans? And I'm gonna stop right there. And I want to see if y'all got something y'all want to say behind what Theophilo Banker just said. Kofi, you
Nah, I ain't got nothing.
okay? Kofi, you want some smoke with Theophilo Banker?
Go ahead, man. I'm gonna come back. I'm on the phone with my son real quick. I'm gonna come back and add in just a second.
All right. So, with that being said, I want to go ahead and build on his ideology of philosophy using one of the core statements that he made. Well, not core statements, but one of the three kinds of knowledge. And y'all already know what I'm talking about: science. So, what is it with science? What is the infatuation with it? Is scientism really an ideology? Or, do we think the science can resolve or solve everything? No. Science set out to only answer real world questions. Does not set out to answer stuff for your belief or anything like that, because it's going to falsify all of those things. So this is, and that science comes in conflict with some people's physiological, I want to say reality, but it's not really reality, but their thought. All right, so real quick, I want to go to models. Let me get up here to the beginning. So this right here defines research models, right? This comes from the National Research Center for Distance Education and Technical Advancement. It's by Tanya Justin. It also comes with a downloadable PDF, which is in the description. I'm not going to go through the background of this particular bill because we already should know where we are. But when we're dealing with research models, right, we're talking about frameworks and inquiry. And I don't know if y'all could see this, but I just blew it up to where it should be visible for everybody to see now. And I want you to think about what I just read and how research models and science work in the field of Theophilo Banger's perspective, his argument. Okay. Now I'm looking. I'm looking at the screen. Sutek, if you can you make it to where it just blow up a little bit bigger? So I ain't got to come out of the screen in a little stream, y'all.
Yeah, it's it should be fully expanded now.
Okay, appreciate it. So now that we fully expanded, I want you, we should be able to see this pretty good on your phones and maybe your iPads or laptops. But at the top in gray, it says input, throughput, output. All right. So in this manner, it goes student or learner characteristics, instructor characteristics, course characteristics, program and institutional characteristics. Then it goes throughput. It says student behaviors, instructor behaviors, program institution service behaviors, external. Output, student outcomes, instructor outcomes, course outcomes, program and institutional outcomes. Why am I even talking about this, or why is this even related? Because when we do research, no matter which field of study it may be in, we start with our input, then we go to our throughput, and then we have our output. Our outcome is what we try to help people obtain. So if you're a student, you understand the information from the perspective of a student. If you're a teacher, you're disseminating the information and you're understanding it also from a teacher or instructor perspective. We haven't got to courses yet, but we do have courses set up elsewhere where people could understand it from a course correlation to what we're actually doing. And then, of course, program and institutional outcomes as well. So we just don't follow the scientific method and these models just to come to a conclusion and act like we're doing something. We're actually trying to do what we do to back up the science, right? That I said earlier, Banger mentioned what kinds of knowledge is he talking about? Human beings having at least 3 kinds of knowledge. He said faith, opinion, and science, right? He's saying that you could have all 3 of these, but one of these is going to wash away the other 2, right? And what's driving that is scientific knowledge, observation, identification, description, experimental investigation, and theoretical explanation of phenomena, or what we know as natural world. Okay. Now peep this. This is from Newton, Sir Isaac Newton. It says, he writes that my design in this book is not to explain the properties of light by hypothesis, but to propose and prove them by reason and experiments. That was in his book 1, written in 1704 in the book Optics. So from that point forward, he wasn't sitting forth to talk about light, right? From a hypothesis state. He wanted to take you through a method, right? A framework of inquiry, and then help you get to where we're going. So let me kind of identify what you just basically bear witness to. Situated within the framework of inquiry, several research designs were created. See? That might be too big. All right, but I'm right here. Several research designs were created. And then it goes on to say, including formulating measures, developing instrumentations, and coding to conduct cross-institutional research within the framework of inquiry. These research designs include experimental and survey study designs to address the top research questions. Experimental designs include interventions identified for testing that bargained from discussions at the Data National Summit. Now, survey studies and instrumentation applicable to both survey and experimental studies were developed from existing research at UWM and review of literature, including utilized instrumentation. Survey studies include questions to gather qualitative data for analysis to address research questions or exploratory nature. Both the survey and experimental research designs are complemented by data mining or student information systems to provide learner characteristics, low income, minority, first generation, and disabled, and outcome data grade accomplished. Now, the next framework or model that you have is a model description, which would be developing research models of online learning. We ain't gonna go too far here. I'm gonna stay right here because I really want to get over into a whole nother area. But I know Kofi on the phone. I don't know if Sutek want to add anything at the present moment. And then I see we got pseudo ass Unk in the chat.
Nah, man, I'm just trying to learn something. I ain't got no disputes.
Okay. So I'm going to refer back to Theophilo Banger's argument with a new approach to African philosophy. And again, I'm dealing with topic number 3 because the first, he said there's 3 kinds of knowledge. Again, just to reiterate for people who just came in the chat, he argues that there's 3 kinds of knowledge. He says faith describes as a belief that does not rest on logical proof or material evidence. Opinion describes a belief or conclusion held with confidence, but not substantiated by positive knowledge or proof. Opinions usually exclude doubt. It is based on emotion or will rather than reasoning and evaluation. And then the third one is science or scientific knowledge. Is logos, that is the observation, identification, description, experimental investigation, and theoretical explanation of phenomena or nature. It says theoretical explanation or theory comes from theoria, intellectual insight in Greek. He said philosophy is science and science is philosophy. So why does research models and scientific method matter? Because in the title of this, we have the word tp-Hsb, which means the correct method. Now, this is for people who follow the ancient rmT and then turn around and act like they don't know that the rmT dealt with science on any type of a level. Or, you know, yeah, they had their beliefs, but they were more than just their beliefs. Their beliefs are proselytized on everybody else because they're romanticized. You know what I'm saying? And I say it just like this: the Egyptologists and historians have romanticized the rmT's afterlife, the way that they looked at the afterlife. So all their underworld texts are heavily published and regurgitated and sourced over and over. But they ignored the rest of you know, what the rmT did outside of their archaeological framework, their artistic expression, and they never really got too much deep into their daily lives. But it took some form of understanding their natural world to help them advance themselves for as long as they did for thousands of years. This is not an argument about the color or the skin tone. This is not an argument about a locale. This is simply a statement of tp-Hsb, the correct method, and why methods and models is important for Black people. Now, this is model and scientific research by PhD Dr. Edgar and Dr. Carpi, I'm sorry. Now, they deal right here in the earlier onset with some Lego stuff, but I'm not really worried about all of that. They deal with types of models, physical, conceptual, and mathematical models, okay? And in their argument, they stop right here. Well, I'm not going to read this first paragraph, but I'm going to go right here, and it says right here, not all models used in scientific research are physical models. Some are conceptual and involve assembling all of the known components of a system into a cohort whole. Then they go back and deal with the building blocks of the Legos that they refer to as their example of what they're arguing here. But if you see highlighted is the Atomic Theory 1, the early days model, and then they give you a link where you can go and get some early information. But that's not our point why we're here. This is why we're here. Both physical and conceptual models continue to be important components of scientific research. In addition, Many scientists now build models mathematically through computer programming. This is what makes Assar dangerous, because that's what his major is in, computer programming. These computer-based models serve many of the same purposes as physical models, but are determined entirely by mathematical relationships between variables that are defined numerically. The mathematical relationships are kind of like individual Lego bricks. They are basic building blocks that can be assembled in many different ways. In this case, the building blocks are fundamental concepts and theories like the mathematical description of turbulent flow in liquid, the law of conservation of energy, or the laws of thermodynamics, which can be assembled into a wide variety of models for, say, the flow of contaminants released into a groundwater reservoir or the global climate change. Now, models as a scientific method, and I'm gonna bring it back to y'all live and in living color. What up, Unc? Rather developing a conceptual model like an atomic model, a physical model like a miniature river delta, or a computer model like a global climate model, the first step is to define the system that is to be modeled and the goals for the model. System is a generic term that can apply to something very small, like a single atom, something very large, like the Earth's atmosphere, or something in between, like the distribution of nutrients in a local stream. So defining the system generally involves drawing the boundaries, literally or figuratively, around what you want to model, and then determine the key variables and relationship between those variables. Y'all about to see why I'm saying what I'm saying tonight. Though this initial step may seem straightforward, it can be quite complicated. Inevitably, there are many more variables within a system that can be realistically included in a model, so scientists need to simplify. To do this, they make assumptions about which variables are most important. In building a physical model of a river delta, for example, the scientists made the assumption that biological processes like borrowing clams were not important to large-scale structure of the delta, even though they are clearly a component of a real system. To end, determining where simplifications is appropriate takes a detailed understanding of the real system. And in fact, sometimes models are used to help determine exactly which aspects of the system can be simplified. For example, the scientists who built the model of the river delta did not incorporate borrowing clams into their model because they knew from experience that they would not affect the overall laying of sediments within the delta. On the other hand, they were aware that vegetation strongly affects the shape of the river channel and thus the distribution of sediments, and therefore conducted an experiment to determine the nature of the relationship between vegetation, density, and river channel shape. I'm gonna stop right here, and I want to show y'all something. This is why we're here. I don't know if you can see this. Let me zoom back in. But this was posted today on Facebook by Taka Kilimanjaro. It's not too specific, but it has an outline dealing with science and technology. I don't want to bring up the post and read the post because it's going to take away from what we're trying to learn here tonight. But I do want to make something very clear. There's an argument on this post based on this model that is presented by him, and that's in actually one of his books. Now, I know that everybody can see this, so I'm going to try to get into this, and I don't know when Kofi going to come in or anything like that. But I brought science up because that's one of the bodies of knowledge that Theophilo Banga talked about. But he also stressed that this was more important than a belief and an opinion. And he made it clear in his distinction on what a belief could answer, which was not much of nothing, what an opinion could answer, which was basically a thought, and then what science could answer, which was a lot more. So here we have science and technology. And on the left-hand side, he has the thought process for blacks. And then on the right-hand side, he has the thought process for whites. In between, he has he has the important data of gathering facts, theory, laws, application to reality. Okay. Now, on the left-hand side, for under blacks, he says when it's regarding gathering facts, that blacks don't gather facts under representation in science. They gather facts for whites. Whites, they gather facts to increase efficiency, deeper understanding, and they gather facts. Is he correct in his assessment when he says that blacks don't gather facts? Wholeheartedly, that's too general, it's not specific. Instead of saying most blacks, he said blacks. So the reality of it all is all we have to do is show a handful of blacks who gather in science, and then that would dismiss blacks in general. But in a more broader sense of the word, he's saying most blacks, because what we see on social media is our inability to do two things: to deal with scientific research and models and methods, and use science or scientific knowledge, which is the observation, identification, description, experimental investigation, and theoretical explanation of nature or phenomena. We don't use that. The majority of our brothers and sisters who claim to be conscious of thereof use faith and opinion while collecting facts for whites. Somebody got something to say? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I unmuted my mic. You just took away what I was just gonna say. But yeah, it's easy to just have faith. It's easy to just have an opinion. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't take any work to have faith. It doesn't take any work to believe. All you have to do is just believe. It doesn't take nothing to come up with a thought and formulate your own opinion. So, you know, I'm not saying all, but a lot of us is lazy. You know, a lot of us don't want to, critically think. A lot of us don't want to use that scientific method because you just named a lot of steps that come with that scientific method to come up with a conclusion. So it's easier for us to just have faith. It's easy for us just to believe in something. Again, belief is accepting something when it's crazy to me because belief is accepting something without knowing. Belief is surrendering to something without facts, proof, and evidence. But it's easy to do that because again, a lot of us is lazy. Even those that we say that, like you said, that are woke, that is aware part of this virtual uh social media conscious conscious community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I know I took a long way to get to this point, but let's go further. Now, would you agree that whites in their gathering of facts, they use it to increase their efficiency and deeper understanding of things, and they gather facts, but the way they gather facts is to move them forward versus keeping them stuck. Would anybody agree with that or have an objection to it? Okay, I'm gonna move on then. Nobody ain't got nothing. Now I'm gonna go next to theory for blacks, theory or laws for whites. Go ahead. Go ahead, Sue, take a go. Excuse me. Okay, I ain't got nothing.
Hold on, can you hear me?
Nah, I couldn't hear you. You unmuted and then you ain't say nothing.
Nah, oh shoot, you must have muted me back. But no, I was saying which whites. I mean, because I know whites that do some of the same thing that we do. You know, lazy and
Yeah.
you know, there's
Okay. So let me be specific because this is not specific. So all right, when I say whites, you have a collective of whites that come together to unify to advance whites. Yes or no?
that's correct.
All right. So, in the advancement of whites, the poor, lower class whites adopt whatever it is the upper class whites who see the advancement of white power as a rallying cry. They just ride with the punches, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. Because we know there's a large sector of ignorant whites who push propaganda on blacks to keep us stuck,
Facts.
right?
I agree. I agree.
Okay. So in the assessment, I'm looking at this as the whites who advance knowledge for themselves to keep themselves where they are, as far as from a global perspective, world domination. Because, like I said earlier about the blacks, he said blacks, and it's not specific. You know what I'm saying? So for whites, it's not specific either. It's very general. All right. So what he says in Bubble 2 for theory and laws for blacks is the lack of time and resources to devote time to develop will of theory and laws. Now, I also agree with that because most blacks don't have the time and the resources to develop the understanding of a theory and how it to bring it forward into an actual law. We defer in this area as well, unless you have a wise mind like an astrophysicist, such as what's your boy name? It's slipping my mind right now.
Neil
Neil deGrasse.
Tyson deGrasse.
Yeah, him. Neil deGrasse Tyson. You flipping his name around.
Oh.
Yeah, but people, real scientists, right? We have scientists in the field, but you know what I mean. We don't dominate it where it can help us answer those specifics. However, it says for whites, whites can discuss relationships and patterns. Whites possess sufficient time and other resources to develop theories and test them and confirm theories. Now, this is true for most whites that are in the fields to be able to develop those theories and test them. But as far as blacks, we lack that because why? We work all day. When we get off work, what we doing? The mothers attending to the children or the household, and the fathers are either still at work or totally ignoring everything else and trying to wind down from their reality or working out or something, right? Maybe on YouTube or maybe doing a presentation or reading a book. But whatever it is, it's not really that time isn't fully developed in and advancing that knowledge in the way that we try to advance knowledge. Now, that's most blacks, not all, because some of us try to advance knowledge and develop theories that be able to help orchestrate or promote our literacy and our advancement for black people. Anybody got any objections or discretions with point number 2?
No, I don't. I agree with that too.
Okay. All right. Now, the application, this is the most important part for me. The application to reality is the third bubble. He says blacks promote regression in communities and culture, worsens living conditions, pushes to lower level in production process, while whites promote advancement of white society, culture, etc., enhances living conditions, pushes them to higher level in production process. Now, I want to deal with most blacks because this is general. Most blacks do promote regression in our communities and culture by simply being unscientific, by pushing anti-vax rhetoric as an example, by pushing identity crisis Hebrew, Jew, Moor, Muslim, Christian, those ideologies, they push those. And they don't push those in a way for the advancement of people. They push those in a way to keep people stuck. So that application to reality is in the form of what Theophilo Banker had mentioned for point number 1, faith, which describes a belief that does not rest on logical proof or material evidence. And then he says it's the promotion of worse living conditions. We do live in areas where predominantly we are the lower class. So we live in the inner cities, or right now they're moving us out of the inner cities and they're moving us in the areas where the income stricken and everybody's fighting like the crabs in the bucket and all of that old stuff. So we get that. Now, Kofi or Sutek, whatever, what's your opinion on that? Or what's your scientific explanation for the application to reality? Do you agree that blacks struggle in this area, or do you agree that do you disagree and say that we have made advancements in the application to reality?
I'll go first, man. Briefly. Yeah, I agree with everything that you said a while ago. I mean, and what Theophilo Binga said, when he breaks down the faith, opinion, and science, and a lot of it has to do. A lot of it is rooted in faith. And again, going back to what I'm saying, it's easy to believe. It's easy to have faith, and that is one of that is one of our biggest downfalls of us having faith and having a belief. And again, belief is not tapped into reality, in my opinion.
Sutek, you got something, bro?
Who just came on? Who he didn't say who he with? Hold on.
Or you loud? Sutek ain't got nothing. Roll it up. Well, then roll up then. All right, so this is why we're here today. Actually, I wanted to talk about this model. I thought this model had some points in it, but I also knew that the model had was too general. It wasn't specific. I knew that some of us who are scientifically and technology literate and try to do a great job at using science as a tool to advance knowledge forward and help encourage literacy in both science and technology to our people. We try to do all of the things that give whites advantages over blacks. This color contrast, right, from a social perspective and a general perspective, gives them advantages that blacks just don't take advantage of because we're not in these fields. And if we are in these fields, we're in these fields at such a capacity that is non-existing, so to say, because the field is heavily dominated by everyone else. And we don't take advantage of those opportunities where they lie. So ultimately, and let me continue on with Theophilo Bang and his argument, right? Let me get to my next point. I don't want to deal with this primitive thing. I don't want to deal with that or that.
Sean, what chart this book in, man? Which book is this in of
His latest research book. I ain't got it. It's in the latest because I looked through all my other ones and I ain't.
So it's in the newest research book, you say?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But overall, man, we have to, and this is from I don't like appealing to authority, right? I either can take the information, accept it, or do something crazy with it, or whatever. It doesn't matter. But I don't want to do it. But I use Theophilo Banger as a measure because he promotes literacy. He promotes scientific literacy. He understands the importance of what I showed earlier, models, and walking you through what these models are and what they're for. And he also encourages the advancement of this information to help us bring our people forward, whether we're in America or on the continent of Africa. He's for the advancement of Africa, Africans, and Africans in the diaspora. And, you know, this model was lingering on my mind when I seen it because I was like, well, it's too broad, but I do agree with a lot of things on here. And let me stop sharing. And I wanted to just pretty much have a discussion about that because I felt like, you know, we've heard Ujao say this before about people being stuck, but in a sense, we are stuck because we choose to be stuck. And even when we try to promote certain things to the community, we're the minority in our own we're the minority in a majority full of pseudo. Think about that. Think about the literacy versus the illiteracy in just the community that we're in. Whereas we might have 200 or 300 views, and the illiterate person will have 10,000, 20,000 views. We are the minority among our own people who claim to be so-called woke or conscious, because of the failure to properly understand how to use models and methods to advance information and knowledge to bring forth to our people to get us out of situations. We're supposed to be using this as a tool of advancement, not a tool to be stuck, to argue circular arguments or the same arguments every year. He said, or a calm person has 100,000 views. Facts. I can't argue with you there. Because they surely hit 100,000 condom people. But I don't think that we realize the seriousness of what it is that we're trying to get after. Like, what do we want out of this? Why are we here? What's the purpose of us even coming together when we do see lives? You know what I'm saying? If it's about the people, then we need to be advancing our people. But we're not following the way of the rmT. That's why I titled it tp-Hsb, correct method, following the way of the rmT, because they gave us a foundation to build up on, not just us, but other civilizations who have utilized those tools to advance themselves. People always like to say or romanticize and say that the rmT is responsible for other civilizations. Yet you ignore how they used what they did learn from the rmT to advance themselves. No, they didn't use everything or utilize everything from Kemet. They developed their own tools in certain aspects. But the core things that they got from the rmT, when they came in there to learn, they took it back, and every last one of them had great civilizations. Even the freaking dumb Arabs. They were last. The Arabs learned, ladies and gentlemen. They had a golden age. Nobody's thinking like that. What are these people using or utilizing that they learned? And that tool was science. It helped them better understand the natural world. They used those things, and they used every part of what they could learn or digest or extract, and they took back the good. They left the other stuff alone. They basically dissected what was worth value to them and what wasn't worth that much value to them. And then we went and romanticized what didn't have that much value, and that was the underworld text. We wanted to understand how to live in the afterlife. We wanted to act like we was gonna talk to all the spirits in the world, and we was gonna conjure up some spirits, and we was gonna take over the world, and we were gonna win the afterlife and not have our hereafter on earth. We wanted to be more spiritual than the rich. African Americans wanted to be more spiritual than the rich. So now we stealing other people's culture. We want to deal with the chakras. We want to put chakras in Kemet. We want to put chakras in West Africa. We want to put chakras in Central Africa. We want to put chakras in South Africa. They ain't no part of that. And then we did it with energy fields. We want to talk about all of that stuff. We want to do all of that. None of that is advancing us. None of it. You can't burn enough sage to pay your rent, pay your mortgage, pay your bills. You can't wear enough elite beads to do none of that. That's personal. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, man, when I can activate my third eye, man. What is that? What part of the chakra is the third eye? Whatever that is, man.
The crown.
I can activate the crown and astral project, bro, and to the bank and give me some money to pay my mortgage, bro. So I don't know what you talking about, brother. I don't know what you talking about. So I can be spiritual and activate. I can be spiritual.
Third eye.
I'm gonna use my third eye, bro. That's right. I'm gonna go out and sit out in the sun gaze, bro, and get my melanin up, bro. I can get that superhuman skin by gazing in the sun, man. So shoot, when I go rob a bank and they shoot me, man, them bullets gonna bounce off my super melanin skin, bro, from gazing in the sun all day. So I don't know what you talking about.
It's hard, man.
I mean, these are some of the stuff that people be saying, Sean.
I know. I know
Crazy.
what they be. I know what they be saying, but in reality of it all, man, you know what? I mean, how is that gonna help us?
Man, they ain't gonna do nothing for us.
No, I'm saying like, okay, so let me be a little bit more clear. It's different when you hold to your own cultural identity and beliefs, right? It's different when you're doing that because you're utilizing that as a way for you to connect to what's personal to you. But when you start adapting the identity of other people, you fail to use what is rightfully yours to advance yourself. You're confused. So now you're stuck because you're only focused on that which is outside of your reality. So you can't use something outside of reality to answer real life questions and stuff. Trick said, my third eye let me talk to my spirit animal, the cat, and got my credit up. Alani said, for real, I know this cat who was paying Nigerians to tell him he was a god because he could look in the sun for a long time and it took advantage of his handicap to get money. Yep. Other people have taken what's ours and used it to advance themselves. Correct, Snowball. But we have yet to master that because we want to be the most spiritual. We don't care about the advancement of everything else that goes on in our lives. Think about that. Think about if we did utilize it. So that's why, again, it goes back to the point of tp-Hsb. All the people in New York City and around that say they want to practice what they call Egyptian culture or traditions, or come up with these shrines and everything else, they ignore the literacy part of the remech. They ignore the part that says tp-Hsb, correct method. They are stuck in the pyramid text, the duat, the what is that? The heavenly cow.
The book of the heavenly cow. The length is a rod.
Every underworld text.
Mhm.
But not one of them are going to extract what made the civilization great, what made it advance and last as long as it did, and how did other people, what were they going there to learn? They were not going there to learn how to die. They were not. These people were going there to learn how to advance their civilization, not
Mhm.
to die, ladies and gentlemen. This is why Theophilo Banger in point number 3 states what he states, because it beats up facts. It beats up faith and it beats up opinion. He said science. And what bags him up is the methods and models that is used to answer real world questions. So we gathered here today to talk about the things that we really don't want to talk about, and that's the underlying issue of how long are we going to continue to allow ourselves to not extract the things that we need to extract to advance our people, straight up and down. So, that's really my spiel on everything. We looking in the chat. Sutek ain't said nothing all day. I don't know why. And then Kofi, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what Kofi doing. Probably eat some cookies. But anybody got any questions, answers, comments, concerns, want to challenge any of the information? Think that, or if you think the underworld text is going to advance us or something, then I understand that. I ain't gonna have no problem with that. Because I love some of the mythology and some of the things that all African cultures do, whether it's in Northeast, South, Central, or West Africa. Look like COVID and fell off. He probably be back though. So what y'all get, man? How y'all? What do y'all get from basically everything that we just talked about? What did y'all get from all that? What's good? Black folks got used to playing games in Hollywood instead of dealing with facts and science. That's true. We want dessert without eating the veggies. That's facts. We completely abandoned the proper way to study history, which is a form of practical perspective. That's true. Donna said, Dr. Clark said, we're not prepared for the 21st century and backed it up. That's a fact. I got to bring that back up, Snot. Other people have taken what's ours and used it to advance themselves. That's just a fact. Yeah, we need to be, but see, here's a problem with that. You have a selective amount of people who says that if we're going to do, they think that, how I want to say this without pissing people off. They think that science can't answer everything. Really, I've seen people argue with Unc, say he promotes scientism, say he do a whole bunch of A whole bunch of stuff. That's what he say. You know, argue with the brother, you know what I'm saying? Little slim beef or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they was like. They was on that. And the whole time he's actually correct. Because without utilizing the other part of what the rmT did, we just wasted time. We were so caught up in Kemet that all we studied. Look at it, every book. The Parit every book you study is about the dead. Name a book that talk about the Egyptians that talked about their daily lives or talked about their outside of their some book mentioning the sciences or the event, like the papyrus, certain papyrus that deal with scientific method and all of those, the sciences. Name me a book written by somebody who just talked about the daily lives and how they utilize these tools to, you know, advance themselves. Yeah, cocaine is a hell of a drug. One of the greatest, look what Snot say. One of the greatest deficits created by Western religious indoctrination is that it has caused us to abandon a love of literacy and put our hope completely in esoteric facts. Lafayette says, we so desperate, we hoping for something more, so we deny common sense, hoping our dream of a savior or magic happening and will come true. Well, I agree with you in what you're saying. One thing that I don't agree with is the word common sense. Here's why. Because what may be common to you may not be common to me or may not be common to a people. For instance, Scottie Pippen plays small forward. That's common sense. But for somebody who don't know anything about basketball, it ain't so common because they don't know what a small forward is. So let's extend this. We all know what basketball is, and we know the positions. You got 5 positions on the court. You got center, you got power forward, you got small forward, you got shooting guard, and you got point guard, right? Now let's go to a third world country, and it don't matter which one. It says devices are not connected, Donnie. We can go to a third world country, don't matter which one, and we ask them what's the 5 positions on a basketball as far as basketball related. Now that's common sense to us, but to them in that third world country, they have no idea, right? And science doesn't even, succumb to common sense. That's so a lot of y'all need. That's the only reason. Nothing against what you said, but that's the only reason why. You know what I'm saying? When I see the common sense word thrown into play, I kind of dial it back because it put me it compromises what my literacy level as far as understanding science versus understanding when somebody say the common sense stuff. But nothing against you, Donnie. It's not letting you on. It says device is not connected, so you need to connect your device. 220 Love says we are indoctrinated. That's a fact. Yeah, we're indoctrinated so much so that we are abandoning our Africanness in some instances. And that topic you sent me, I think I'm gonna bring that to the brothers, and we gonna build on that on Kofi Paisa. Snowball says, and much of the fascination with the Egyptian underworld is simply Hollywood fiction. That's a fact. That's a fact. Man, we think that underworld gonna answer questions. Donnie, I'm finna kick you out. Rejoin, Donnie. We need our own science organizations with accredited people in the science field. That's a fact. We do. We do. Um, that'll kill a lot of doubters. But let's say, Sutek, let's say if we did that, we still, like, for instance, let's say we were the ones who created mRNA vaccine through and through. Like our own people, like everybody was black. You still gonna have black people that's gonna sit there and say it was done too fast. It ain't happening. It's killing people. It's doing this. It's doing that. You still gonna have people doing that. They don't trust science. Because they don't understand the science. Oh yeah, I know you had to catch the dispensary. You said, glad anybody here. Boy, you crazy. So, for instance, yesterday, right? Yesterday, check it out. Yesterday, Robert Rand, right, was on a panel with a dude who claimed to be an Aboriginal. Dismissed everything and showed no evidence for anything. He dismissed everything. Everything Rob threw up, dude wasn't messing with it. It was crazy. He called Marcus Garvey an agent. Rob let him get away with it. He said all kind of pseudo judo stuff and never put a source on the board, but claimed that he had a source that argued about something. It was just a pathetic outing by this dude. And this dude sat up here in his cockiness and said everything that he said in pure confidence. Pure confidence. And it was shameful. I ain't got the video up, so I don't want to play it on here. I don't want to ruin this one. But maybe we'll get into that video. But you know, those are some things that we have to deal with. And I don't think we really want to deal with all of that. We're scared. We like being stuck. We like being stuck and we cannot lie. Oh, Bing is big in the Bay. But yeah, man, I know a lot of people missed it. How I came with that information earlier on. But let me get back to something else. Give me just a second. Oh man, we got this pseudo dude, man, that hopped on the panel. God damn. Why we put the link out? What up, Rob?
Chilling, man. Yeah, man. I know I was too nice because the thing is, I spoke to him before, like about maybe 20 minutes before we got on. He called me, and he was kind of I won't say copping a plea, but he was like, "Yo, I don't want to show no sources. I don't want to go. I don't want to do it that way. And he said, I don't want to debate what I think is the truth." And I'm basically copping a plea. I'm like, "Listen, bro, let's do it. So this is for the people. You know what I'm saying? This is for the edification for the people, man, so that they can see that. I know he was getting. I know. I heard. I know. I just had to let a lot of stuff go. You know what I'm saying? And I says, I'm not going to get on here and disparage you. I says, I want to do it the way, with the way you would feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Because this is my first time on your platform. So
You was being a wussy.
I know I was. I know I was. I take that. I know I was.
Wussy, wussy, wussy.
So that's all right. That's all right.
You let that
But I,
man
you
do
know,
his garbage,
but
bro.
the main thing I wanted y'all to see what he was talking about. You understand what I'm saying, Sean? That's the main thing I wanted y'all to see. Like, yo, like you can't possibly believe what you're saying, and you don't have any evidence to back it up. Like, what are you reading? Where are you getting this information from? You know what I'm saying? You watching Phil Valentine videos? I don't
No,
get it.
he believes. At that point,
I,
once he listen, man, this is where we make the mistake. Once a brother admits that he believes something, we have to end the discussion right there. Because we can't argue with a belief. We look stupid.
I know.
We,
It
we
was
look,
like,
so as
and
soon
you
as
know,
he
I'm sorry, Sean. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, as soon as he copped this plea, you was done. We was done. Soon he's, you know what I'm saying, without any evidence. Because come on, man, where we from, bro, he can't get away with that. I don't care if it's who platform it is.
I
Like,
know.
if you teach the people,
He
bro,
would,
you got to demonstrate.
yo, and he wouldn't even show my source whenever I sent him the link.
Nah, he didn't. You sent it. Whatever you sent him, he wasn't showing it.
I know. I'm like, yo, in my mind, I'm like, yo, come
It said when
on, bro.
connected, it said when you joined on it, you didn't connect your device, which means either your cell phone or your camera was not connecting. If you're on a laptop, that's different. But on this other part, you gotta connect, bro. You see how Robert Rand came in here? He ain't had no problem. So we know it's you. So come on, Donnie. Why you trying to get in here and you want to get beat up? Come on. I'm gonna call you out over your cell phone now.
I can't wait to start. I can't wait to start reading this.
What's that? Oh yeah.
I'm gonna start this right after because I'm almost finished with this. I don't know if you can see that.
The African diaspora, yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost finished with that. And after I finish with that,
We'll let you join, bro. We'll let you join, Donnie. Donnie. Stop
hold on now.
acting like we listen, he just joined, Donnie. Hey, so what does the word tp-Hsb mean to you?
Correct method. Investigation.
It mean correct method to you. So what does
Yes, it does.
correct method have to do with what does correct method have to do with the Egyptians, the rmT? Why would they create something and call it correct method?
Mm.
Why do you think they would do that? What
Why
benefit
do
does
I?
it? Yeah, what benefit does it have?
In terms of the population of the people,
Mm-hmm.
as far as advancement,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not clear how I could answer that question. Or if you want me to elaborate more on what I think
Nah,
correct method.
you could just however you want to answer. There was a reason for it. They had to do it for something.
Yeah, I don't believe that the ancient Rmich were more of a religious society than opposed to. I believe they were more scientific. They were
You
more
believe?
into the scientific method as a culture, as a civilization. I don't believe they were religious at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I guess if I don't know if that answers the question or partially answers the question. Maybe you can elaborate further, or
Yeah.
expand on
So
what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. So let me give it to you like this. So Let's go to Theophilo Banger's African Philosophy, the Pharaonic Period, 2780 to 330 BCE. You got that book?
No, I don't. I got it in my phone. I have it in my phone.
You
I would have to
ain't.
go in my phone. Yeah, I'm not prepared.
And so you're dealing with the maximums of the Prime Minister Ptah Hotel, the insights. It is there in Ptah. Is there in Ptah work, Ptah Hotel work, where we see tp-Hsb, and that is referred to, right? It says tp-Hsb means correct method, rightness. In pharaonic mathematics, the word tep means a model. This is to say the best example for demonstrating the logical process or any other intellectual procedure with exactitude. Pharaonic language, then, the word for method means to take into account. Hesab. It's the best correct procedure. Method involves the right way. Thus, thoughtful speech, tests, teaches, saber, the ignorant. Kim, uh, not Kim like Kemet, but Kim like XM, about art, knowledge, science, rec, and method, tep-Hsb, of eloquence, in Majet Neferet. I'm gonna run that back to y'all in case you didn't catch what was happening to you right here. Correct method, rightness. In the pharaonic mathematics, the word tep means the model.
Mm.
That is to say, the best example for demonstrating the logical process or any other intellectual procedure with exactitude. In pharaonic language, then the word for method means to take into account the best correct procedure. They were about the best correct procedure, doing things in a way that would help advance. Method involves the right way, thus, thoughtful speech teaches the ignorant about knowledge. I'm gonna run it back. Method involves the right way, thus, thoughtful speech. You hear me, Rob?
I hear you. I'm
Thoughtful
listening.
speech. Listen now. Thoughtful speech teaches the ignorant about knowledge, science, and the method of eloquence. Did you catch what was being put down right there?
Yes.
Thus, thoughtful speech teaches the ignorant about knowledge, science, and the method of eloquence. Now, that's in the maximums. So what I'm gonna do right quick is I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in y'all, cause I know y'all ain't got this. I know you ain't got this.
What's that?
I know you ain't got this from Per Ankh. The instructions of Ptah Hotel.
Nope.
Now,
Damn, that's a thick book.
yeah, but look, this is why it's thick, because it has translations in Akan, in Arabic, in Bambara, in English, in French, in Hausa, in Kikongo, in Kiswahili, in Portuguese, in Polar, in Wolof, in Yoruba, in Zulu. So if I go to a specific instruction, I can read it in all those languages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different languages. So the book is that thick is because it's doing stuff like this. And this is why I like this book. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Let me do it for the people. They can't see it.
You know, a word that keeps popping up in my head when I think about the Remech, the civilization of the Nile Valley. I think
What's that?
about biomimicry.
Explain that to everybody.
I've been coming across it a lot in Saw's book.
Which book?
And
Which is Saul book?
It's not CACAM, the Comparative Dictionary. towards a comparative dictionary of Siakam and modern African languages. Can you?
Which book? The dictionary? Sikim?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. You think you the only one that got that book?
Say that again.
You think you the only one with that?
No, I know y'all got it. Or was it in Aluja? Oh, good.
What page you on?
Wait, because I got a set. You see, I got a section off into different sections.
Yeah, okay. Well, you section off in different sections. You tell me where I'm going. You talking about this book right here, right? This the book, right?
The big red one.
Like my book, right?
Yeah, I'm in Aluja, Volume 2.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. On this one, I'm on page 253.
You want to go right here?
Yeah.
What you want to do?
Let me see. Yeah, let me see. Okay, I got the bookmark on towards the etymology of the Egyptian Iseba. No, do I want that? Etymology of the meaning of the word Kemet. No, not that section. Establishing the sound correspondence, chapter 10. Nope, not that section. Chapter 11. No, because I got a section off. I got chapter 10, section off, chapter 11, etymology of Allah. Let me see. The first one I got. Sometimes I read so many different books in a day, I forget what book I'm in.
That's why I don't be reading all the book. I read one book at a time. I be doing that for a reason, because if I read a whole bunch of different books and then I'm all over the place.
And that's what's happening to me right now. That's exactly what's happening to me right now.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place.
That was my thing with school too. We used to go to school and you had all them subjects in one day. Nah, see, when I got to college, I had my schedule where I went to school on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and then I was out of school Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So on Mondays and Tuesdays, I had like 3 courses, but each course was related to the other. So they couldn't trip me up when it was time to take tests. I made my schedule like that. That was TSU. TSU let me do that. When I got somewhere else, though, they didn't let me do all that. And then when I transferred schools, and I was studying kinesiology. Yeah, I messed that all the way up.
I was just looking at. Hold on. I was just looking at. It's late in the evening. My brain just goes down, down, down.
I think you made it up. Do we need to get a song? Do we need a song here or something?
I'm gonna find it. I'm going to find it.
Amen, the revealer. Although Amen is hidden, there are aspects of him that are concerned with revealing, making known, making conscious that which is unseen. As discussed in Imhotep 2013, the association of Amen with the sun was to highlight this revelatory quality of the divine as only light can symbolize. As argued previously, Amen derives from a monosyllabic root, and we find support in the aspects from the TOB database. The god Amma of the Dogon is also associated with light, and like Amen of Egypt, this is associated with an eye. In the pale fox, revealed that Amma opens his eye, and whirlwind came into being, and out came a bright light. Y'all don't want that work, man. Yeah, I don't want that word. See, I'm about the advancement of color people. We're starting a new group. It's called the Advancement, the ACP, Advancement of Color People. Straight up. And Rob,
I'm on page 211. I'm in African origins of the word science, so I'm in the right section. I just gotta find what I'm looking for. I don't know. I just read it. There it is right there. I knew it. I got it. I told you I was gonna find it. However, science, you ready? I'm on page 219, chapter 4. You ready, Sean? Can you hear me? Sean, can you hear me?
My bad. Go ahead.
Oh, you can hear
219.
me. Yeah. Yeah,
Illusion,
219.
Illusion
Yeah,
Volume
lose your
2,
volume.
page 2.
Yeah.
I had to
Yep.
plug my laptop up
Oh, okay.
because you took so long. My battery died.
I
That's
know.
how long.
I know. I know.
So where I'm at,
I'm on 219, the top, beginning of 219. African origins
okay,
of the word science.
hold up, hold up. He says science in early Africa. Many historians attribute science to the Greeks or consider it exclusive activity in Homo sapiens sapiens. However, science and scientific method have been discovered among non-human primates. And then he backs that up with the innovation inspired by Nature 97 by Janine M. Benyos. It says informs us how primates choose what plants to eat in a new environment. That's a fact. The method used is very scientific, as much as can be expected by lower primates, as noted by Benyos. Before I even read this, you also know that primates also do rituals. They throw rocks at trees. Did you know that?
Mm-mm. Teach.
Oh, okay. Well, um, I'm reading some information regarding how primates do this ritual where they throw these bricks at trees, and it happens a lot. However, let me continue here. She
Hmm.
says they leave their mother. Primates have to keep their own making decisions about whether new foods they encounter are safe and worth collecting. Using themselves as guinea pigs in one option, but social primates have found a better way. Can the glandula cause is sampling. When a howler monkeys move into a new habitat, one member of the troop will go to a tree, eat a few leaves, then wait a day. If the plant harbors particularly strong toxins, the sampler system will try to break it down, usually making the monkeys sick in the process. I've seen this happen, says Glander. So we've been studying monkeys. The other members of the troop are watching with great interest. If the animal gets sick, no other animal will go into that tree. There's a cue being given, a social cue. By the same token, if the sampler feels fine, it will re enter the tree in a few days, eat a little more, then wait again, building up to a large dose slowly. Finally, if the monkey remains healthy, the other members figure this is okay, and they adopt the new food. We can see here that the howler monkeys are following the scientific method. Here's
Method.
how:
Hmm.
they ask a question, do background research, construct a hypothesis, test an experiment, procedure working, analyze the data and draw a conclusion, and then communicate the damn results. That's a fact. I ain't got to read no more. That was a good job extracting that information and putting it out there. That's a good job because he's correct. And they do this on more than one occasion. They just don't do it with the food. They do it with their living habits as well when they enter in new places to live or when they come across something that's foreign to them. Yeah, that's a great example. But that just goes to show you how important methodology is. It's just a fact. And then here we are, we want to exclude proper research methodology and all those terms and just deal with belief, faith, and opinion. That is not following the way of the rmT. That is not tp-Hsb. That is not the correct method. That is not the scientific method. That's not advancing your people forward. That monkey and that explanation that was provided was showing you how we're going to advance our people forward and how things are going to sustain, how life is going to sustain.
You know what's
Lafayette,
fun?
uh, hold on, I'll
You know
tell
what's
you
funny,
why.
Sean?
Go ahead.
You know what's funny, Sean? People, and I'm not promoting this, but in terms of hustling and the that lifestyle, uh, by we when you actually were doing that, you were actually practicing the scientific method, and I'm gonna tell you how. A lot of times, whether it would be with dope or with crack, they would if in order for you to know that you have something good, you would have to test. You would need a test dummy, so to speak. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So you would have a fiend that would that you know they would test the drug and they would tell you whether the drugs was good or not. Back in the day, they had
correct.
a dope fiend by the name of Claw, and all the drug dealers used to go to him, and he would let them know whether they had good, whether that dope was good. He would let them know the quality of the dope that they had. So he was
Right.
there.
And then
You know
that
what I'm
turned out
saying?
to you too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You
People come
know.
to you quick. That's the bring you all been there. My cousin used to ride
But
around with somebody all the time in the car. Like, I was like, why y'all? The reason why
hmm
he
hmm
good dope sell itself.
but it's like you said, man, we're not going to advance other
So real
people,
quick.
man, without science. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Mhm. Oh, now the scientists think the chimps throwing and stacking stones at hollow trees just may be evidence of early ritual. It's just something that they think. This is something that they're studying. It said researchers since the 60s have recorded the behavior of chimpanzees, how they use leaves, twigs, stones, and spears as tools and sticks as dogs, and they throw them in a display of dominance. So that's the real answer to your question is why do they do it? They do it as displaying their dominance.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But they
Cool.
look at it as it's looked at as a ritual. Now I ain't sharing my screen because I was gonna do something on this. It'll be a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, presentable for people. And I was kind of teetering on that, but I got so many different presentations and books and things of that nature going in my mind. But as you can see, chimpanzees are cumulative stone throwing, right? And this archaeological remains of fossil hominids must rely on reconstructions to elucidate the behavior that may have resulted in a particular stone tools and their accumulation compared to stone tools used in living primates as illuminated, blah, 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 blah. But boom, chimps have been caught throwing rocks at trees and yelling for no apparent reason. Chimpanzees in West Africa have a song and it goes like this: hoot loudly and then throw a rock at a tree, maybe twice, and then saunter away. Whatever it is our primate cousins are trying to do, we honestly have no idea. But a close look at their choice of instrument just might provide some clues as the chimps have been observed throwing rocks at certain type of trees. Primatologist Max Planck Institute of Evolutionary Anthropology in Germany, who first observed this behavior a few years ago, have now tossed some rocks of their own to determine whether rock hurling would work as a type of communication. It's no secret that our primate relatives use stones for a variety of practical purposes, for extracting tortoise fresh from the can to casting them as weapons. So yeah, I mean, here go an example of it. Yeah, I made the whole presentation, but it's a good little lesson on methodology.
Sean, when we gonna do a science conference, man? Have one in
I
Atlanta.
don't know. I'm gonna do it again right here.
Yo, you know what?
He
I was
pulled the
thinking
rock
out
out
of
of the tree. Go ahead. Go ahead, bro. You thinking what?
Oh, I forgot what I was
What was
gonna
you
say.
thinking?
I was um I know the first thing I said was about a science conference in Atlanta, and I forgot what I was gonna say after that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I forgot what I was gonna
Oh,
say. It
okay.
was just on the tip of my. It'll come back to me. It's just on the tip of my tongue.
But no, I mean, I'll go. Well, that'll. But you know, I know Uncle be interested. I know the Mossy, the Amara Squad, people like that'll be interested in those conferences. But what about the people, the ones that we're trying to reach, like you know what I mean? Like, what about
I
them?
know.
Are they interested? Do they want to know
That's the
more?
thing. Nah, they want to hear the Phil Valentine, Bobby Hemmett, Spaceology, Chakra, I don't know what the hell, Third Realm floating, and I don't know,
And
man.
you take all of that away from them, you evil. You evil, man. You're evil when you take that away from people.
Man, they packed the house, brother. They packed the house. They just had a conference the other day. Phil Valentine
In
and them.
Atlanta. In Atlanta.
I'm not sure if it was in Atlanta. I don't remember. I know I just heard about it.
Oh,
On one of
okay.
them pseudo channels I was passing through.
Oh, okay.
Brother Panic and
And also, you
brother
super though.
brother brother
That's
no,
how you know that
no,
you keep up with that
no.
slow shit.
Yeah, I do. I keep up with it. I gotta pay attention to what these crazy people are
I know.
saying.
I ain't even got that kind of time, bro. I ain't gonna
Yo,
lie to you. I don't,
you see the post I post. Yo, did you see what I posted today though? You see the news clipping I posted today about the Moors?
nah.
Let me read that to you real quick. They
You finna make
they
me.
had they had a standoff with the police.
You sure
They
them dudes was
crazy.
Moors, bro? That
Yeah.
didn't tell me. That
I'm
didn't say Moors, bro.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. You seen it? It's a news clip. Look, let me find it.
I don't think that Joker said Moors. They just said black militia.
Okay, watch this. Watch
Go ahead,
this.
I'm
It
listening.
says, all right. We are not anti-government. We are not anti-police. We are not sovereign citizens. We are not black identity extremists. And an unidentified man wearing a military style gear sent in a video from Interstate 95 in Wakefield, which was posted to social media, calling himself a member of a group called Rise of the Black Moors. He said, as specified multiple times to police, we are abiding by the peaceful journey laws of the United States.
I'm about to kick you out of here. Oh, you kicked yourself out. I ain't stop him, y'all. He stopped himself. It's just the head said he get. To take you back. You still on the run.
Yo, but I just sat back down. I heard y'all talking about some Moors.
That's a robber, man. That's why his microphone messed up.
Yo, man,
Barbershops
let
and
them
health
things
salons
go.
are enlisted in COVID vaccine push. You can go get a vaccine at the barbershop, man. That's dope.
Shit, that motherfucker cutting my hair ain't sticking me though.
Nah, it's a nurse. Yeah, they got the nurses in the barber shop. Yeah, I don't know what dude went, man, but the whole point of the show, though, it all goes back to really, are we really following the race? You know, for all of the people who claim Kemet, and you know what I'm saying, that just be all on Egypt. Are you really following the way of the remits? Because they dealt with methodology, they dealt with science at the core. Yeah, they had their cultural and traditional beliefs, rightfully so, just like every other part of the continent. However, you know what I'm saying? When they needed to get stuff done, they developed tools, they developed methods, they developed things that help them progress and continue to progress as a people. And I don't think that people understand that. That's why, you know what I'm saying, we try to bring what we can bring to deal with what we can deal with so that we can help everybody move forward. Like when you're dealing with science, you're supposed to be advancing knowledge. So when you get all these people kicking all this bull crap, man, and it ain't getting us nowhere, it ain't gonna never get us nowhere. We're gonna stay stuck. And it's because people are choosing to stay stuck.
You're sure you were one of our heroes during this pandemic, brother. I want to tell you that. With this that science
I
with
appreciate
Sean is so valuable. Like, oh my God, man. You did a great job, man. An excellent job, brother. Because there was nothing like it on
that.
YouTube. Nothing. There's nothing like it. Nobody had that. And you know, our people don't appreciate this right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's your um I don't know the word I'm looking for, but that's gonna be your signature right there, man. That science with Sean. I'm telling you. That was something special. That series right there, all through this pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
putting out that great information. And I've been posting, I just posted to multiple groups. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, you might not dig it now, but later on, you're gonna understand later on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hope that later on for certain people ain't too late.
It's not gonna be. Our people are stubborn. We're just stubborn,
Yeah,
you know?
we I mean, if we could prevent, listen, bro, we can prevent deaths if people just stop being stupid. Because we have people that we know people that have said no and argued against the vaccine, and then next thing you know, they ain't here no more because of a
Hmm.
virus. And that's sad. And it's like that's preventable. Those are preventable scenarios for us. And
And you know,
it's crazy.
well, you put out the scientific information. They can't say it was inaccessible. You know, they can't say, "Oh, we don't know how to access to those journals. We don't know where to find those journals. We don't know." You did it every day, sometimes 2 and 3 shows a day, and you took your time and broke everything down. Everything, or every question that anybody ever had about the vaccine, about the pathogens, what it is, the origin of it, broke it down on multiple shows. So, you know, you made it palatable for our people. That was the important part. I guess that's what I was trying to say. You took something that was complicated and that's intimidating, a subject matter that's intimidating to our people, and you made it palatable. And I really appreciate you for doing that, brother. I really do.
No problem, man. Just doing my part, man. Like I said, you can't talk about advancing people and then you know what I mean. You can't stand on the square that you ain't about
You're doing
advancing
it,
people. Like
brother.
you gotta.
You're doing it. You're doing it. You're doing it. The ancestors are definitely proud of you, man. You made your mark, brother. You made your mark.
Jesus is smiling right now.
Shout out to the grass man. Oh Jesus. Yeah, you seen him at the dispensary.
Guess you ain't a student no more, huh? I won't be hearing that coming out of certain people's mouths no more. A student.
Nah, man, I'm a
Shut up.
student. I'm a student.
I
I don't know
we
who.
all students, but you know what I mean. But you know what I'm talking about. You can't talk to a student.
Yeah, well,
Mm-hmm.
you use stuff like that. You use stuff like that when people
Motivation.
say all that. Yeah, you just use it as just that, man. I mean, because you have to think about it. Those dudes, when they say and do stuff like that, like they're trying to draw a line as in to say that you're not qualified to actually continue or to carry a conversation with them.
That's why I
And
just said what I said. That's exactly why I
yeah,
said what I said. You've put that work in. You've made you put your signature out there. It's out there. Oh, you ain't student. You ain't student no more. Can't say that.
well, I mean, they still gonna say something, but yeah, I ain't tripping on that. I mean,
I know.
if they show their work, I'm just gonna break it apart. I'm gonna show them what a student do. A student take them at face value. A student gonna go behind them and fact check their work and then show them where they start some bull crap. And that's the majority of the people that we deal with in this community that we call the conscious community. They information is bull crap, and it's all conjecture, and it's all about it's a money grab for them. That's how a lot of them are, earning their money. They earning their keep like that because of the way that they get the reality of other people's ignorance. You know what I mean?
Just
They
blatantly
put
lying to the
together.
people.
Yeah, they put together. They have came up. I don't care what nobody said. They came up off people ignorant, just straight up and down. It's sad. It's
It
sad,
is.
but
I mean, you look at Nuwapianism. You look at where Dr. York is. 20 years in prison. You know what I mean? You look at Bobby Hemmett.
great.
I mean, and Delbert Blair. Where did that information really take us, yo? Where did it take us? How
It
did that information advance us?
kept us stuck.
Yep, it made us regress. And something Unc said was right, and I didn't want to admit it, but I really thought about it. Hip hop started out pseudo, and that's Dr. York and them. They was heavy. They was heavy. It was deeper than I thought in terms of Dr. York and Bambaataa and them. It was deeper than I really thought. But yeah, man. Hip hop was built off of pseudo information. Unc was 100% right with that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all we had back then, bro. In the 80s, that's all we had. You didn't have we couldn't get up in them universities, man, with Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark in them. For the brothers that wasn't in those universities, we had the street.
Dr. Ben had to tell a story to get himself in there.
Yeah. Well, for the average dude on the street.
Let me answer a question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
It says, Sean, how do you feel about comparison vaccine to chemo and blood sugar meds? There's no comparison because chemo is like injecting bad stuff. Chemo attacks the bad and the good. Chemo doesn't distinguish, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't distinguish one from the other. It attacks the bad and the good. The vaccine helps train the immune system to create a response against a pathogen. so that when you encounter it again, it's ready to defend itself. Chemo doesn't do that. Blood sugar medicines, just basically, those are treatments. A vaccine is the difference between a vaccine and like chemo and blood sugar is a vaccine isn't a treatment. It's a preventative, right? It helps prevent infection, the spread of disease, prevent, uh, you know, hospitalization. It's a preventative. Chemo doesn't do any of preventing hospitalization and all the other things. Blood sugar meds don't do anything either. Both of those are, you know what I mean? You succumb to a series of treatments or constant medication of those things. As in why the vaccine free, but chemo and insulin not free. The vaccine is free right now because it's under emergency use. It's already purchased by the government. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Like other vaccines, there's a small cost or a fee to those vaccines. They really don't make a lot of money off the vaccines. But right now we're in the middle of a pandemic. You go get an MMR shot, that mug ain't gonna be free. You go get a flu shot, it ain't gonna be free. So right now, what's free to us is the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic and we're dealing with certain aspects of things. That's why it is what it is with those. So I don't know if that answers your question or not regarding the vaccines, but that's kind of the short and skinny. And its realness. No coffee, I saw it and I did say more as I saw news clip. Okay. I'm trying to catch up. It's still popping out there. What else? Ain't nobody else got nothing? Bro, what you get? What else you get, bro? Man, look, if you ain't subscribed to the Monster Warrior Clan, subscribe to the channel. If you ain't subscribed to Science with Sean, find the name in the chat. It's in the chat. Hear ye, hear ye. It says hear ye right there. Click on Science with Sean, go subscribe. But the real answer to that question is that the reason why the vaccine freeze because the government had already paid for it. And they still administering it because it's under emergency use. But soon they'll reject that. And then once both Moderna and Pfizer have both got their BLAs approved by the FDA, once it gets its full authorization, they have the right to no longer make the vaccine available to people unless it's in the FDA distribution for already purchased vaccine amounts. So if when the government run out of vaccines for people, it's gonna cost you to get your little vaccine. How much? I don't know. It ain't gonna be too much, but your insurance gonna cover the majority of it. But that's just the life right there. But I ain't gonna stop the firecrackers. Man, you know what I want, man? I want some nerd rope. I'm gonna go to the store and give me some.
What's that?
It's the little nerds, but it's got, yeah, something sweet. Some on it. Yep. I'm about to go to the store. It's right down the road.
Walking distance or you gotta drive?
Nah, I'm gonna drive my car. It's like a couple miles. I mean, what I could have done was when I ran my 3 miles, I just could have ran to the store, but that ain't used me running into the store and stopping and walking around the store. I don't like that. When I get to running, I got to keep going. Man, I think I'm gonna go back to chicken, yo. I ain't had no chicken in so long. I've been thinking about chicken. Chicken tastes so good.
Still shooting on fireworks. Can you see it?
What?
Still shooting on fireworks. You see it?
Yeah, I see it. So I'm reading somebody's pseudo, one of my pseudo fans. It said women be in astrology but still getting played. We never see it coming. That's to let you know astrology is pseudo. And Keisha on there too. Keisha goes pseudo behind that.
So she got the they just on fireworks, so like shooting on fireworks, they shoot on fireworks.
Nah, they just stopped shooting fireworks right here. They got quiet. Look at the heat talking about chicken does the body good. See, that's why I ain't gonna eat it, because you just said that. I'm sure it does, Nahisa. I just ain't ready, bro. I don't think I'm ready for it. I just want to eat a piece of chicken. I mean, some chicken wings. I want some lemon pepper chicken wings. So I think I need to go get me some mushrooms. If I go get me some mushrooms and do lemon pepper mushroom, then I'll be cool. Sutek back. What up, Sutek?
Yeah, you need to go on the wing stop.
Nah, bro. I don't know, bro. Every time I'll be saying that, then I don't be. You know what I mean, I ain't gonna jump off the
We ain't stop selling thighs now. What out here?
I ain't gonna eat. Yeah, they are. I ain't gonna do that. They got a chicken shortage. Well, they had a chicken wing shortage.
Black folks now ate all the goddamn wings. That's sad.
So yep, that pandemic turned into a bandemic. But nah, man, I ain't gonna keep nobody else up, man. We been on this juggle 2 hours, man, almost 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? We had a good little dialogue. We talked a little. We stayed on topic. We got off topic when Robert Rand joined the panel. Then we got back on topic when he brought us up. So that was cool. You know what I'm saying? We brought up Illusion Volume 2 and Succumb, which is a dictionary work. So that kind of helped. But all in all, we talked about the monkeys, and we didn't go too far into the monkeys. We may come back to that one day, or maybe you'll look that up and kind of, further understand the monkeys and their rock on capabilities. But listen, man, our ancestors used methods and models to answer real world questions and come up with solutions to advance people forward. It is our job and our duty to follow in the footsteps of our ancestors to be able to answer real world questions and come up with solutions to those questions to help advance knowledge and help advance our people. If we're talking about the unification of the black mind, the black man, the black woman, the black child, and if we're talking about advancing our people forward and getting them out of situations and predicaments that they're in and showing them how to invest and how to build wealth and how to educate themselves and how to use certain things to get further in life, then we have to use that number 3, that main thing that Theophilo Baker mentioned. We have to use science as a tool to help liberate the mind of the African American and the Africans in the diaspora, and especially Africans on the continent. This has to be the unification of the mind in order to advance ourselves forward. We just can't sit here and say it. We have to do it. So we need to know the things that we need to know in order to advance our people forward, to sit here, lollygag, pump fake, act like we finna do this, that, and the third, that is not going to render a solution. The things that we've done thus far since we so-called been woke or conscious has not moved our people forward at all. Who has gained anything from this community? You see what I'm saying? The only people who have gained something have been those who have played the game to gain with everybody in the community, and therefore they have tried to create a lane for themselves to become the haves versus the have-nots and keep you illiterate, dumb, blind, and a fool to the game that has been ran on you for at least 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 years. However, in closing, I'm gonna let Rob say something, and if Sutek want to say something, and then I'm gonna hit that button. Rob, you
Yo,
got
I wanna,
something?
yeah. No, I just appreciate this. Appreciate the build. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm kind of short-winded tonight. I'm tired. It was kind of impromptu that I came on. You know what I mean? Um, so thanks for everything, Sean. Thanks for all the information, man. Thanks to all the families too. For trying to advance our people because it's obvious we don't have this out in our community. We don't have access to scientific literature and scientific understanding. So the roles that the families play, Mossy Warrior Clan, Sesh Metal Necha, Science with Sean, Kofi Pasa Research Team, Amin Ra Squad, it's invaluable. And we might not be appreciated now, but one day we're gonna be appreciated. People are gonna really look back at this time period, and they're gonna they're gonna I don't know. That's just
Well,
I'm signing off, man. I'm tired. I'm fading out. I ain't got nothing else to say.
man, I would appreciate that, brother Sutek.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I'm tired too. I'm about to get on this Xbox for a minute and call it a night, man. Appreciate everybody for coming through. I'm gonna have to rewatch this again tonight too. So I was ripping and running, doing a lot of whole bunch of extracurricular activities. But yeah, man, we appreciate y'all for coming through, man. We will be live again tomorrow, having a nice little discussion. I ain't gonna spoil the surprise, but yeah, man, y'all make sure y'all tune in. And much love.
Yeah, man. And on that note, I'm gonna say Shimon Hotep, and y'all know how we rocking out. Make sure y'all go get Kofi's book.